Good evening, friends. Today we start looking at the POCSO legislation, but before looking at that, we need to discuss very briefly the issue of child sexual abuse. The POCSO legislation, Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012, is there to prevent child sexual abuse. The background of the law is the thriving sex tourist industry in India, particularly in cities like Goa and Bombay, as well as the awareness of child rights and child rights groups and our commitments to the International Convention on Child Rights that India signed, which requires countries to have a special law on child sexual abuse. The words child sexual abuse cover a set of varied and complex contexts. The cases of sexual abuse where the crime is committed by parents or blood relations, incest type of situation, is there in child sexual abuse where children are preyed upon by parents or uncles and aunts who are closely related to them by blood. Also, we have the trafficking situation where children are sold or trafficked for a commercial gain. That is another situation of child sexual abuse. Another situation of child sexual abuse is the adolescent sexuality or romantic relationships. We will talk about these specifically because they are particularly complex and raise some very difficult issues for all stakeholders who are dealing with child sexual abuse. And of course, there are the vast majority of cases where the child is abused by an adult who's a friend, neighbor, teacher, cousin, and these adults usually have gained access to the child through grooming, winning the trust of the child. So despite the popularity of the notion that girls or boys are unsafe when they are traveling alone or where they're in a situation where they're preyed upon by strangers, the reality is the vast majority, I would say 90% of the situations in which a child is abused, it is done by somebody the child knows and trusts. And the abuser has done the work, we call it grooming, to secure the trust of the child, and therefore the child trusts him and spends time with him, which gives the opportunity for the abuser to abuse him or her. So very important to understand that child sexual abusers are not strangers at all.